Good evening, everyone. I am Chris, and I'm joined once again with JXEDITOR to review Ahsoka. We're up to part 3 with this one. Part 3, Time to Fly. And yeah, I had a lot of fun creating the thumbnail for this one today. And that's probably going to be the biggest aspect of my criticism of this episode. We're going to be here every single week. Probably, I think it's fair to say, let's just do 11 p.m. That's the time that we're going to be live British Standard Time. We're here to talk more Ahsoka, so we'll be here for a good few more weeks before this thing's said and done. We had a couple of audio issues last time, so I'm going to pass over to JX now, who's going to talk, and hopefully we'll hear his voice on the stream. So, JX, take it away.
Hello, I am JXEDITOR. 28 seconds, but I think I started 2 seconds too late, just so you know.
Okay, thank you.
That's the delay. We need to take that into account for behind the scenes purposes. Do I need to introduce myself at this point, or can people just know who I am?
People will know who you are, but has your voice come through? That's the main question.
Oh yeah, that's the question, isn't it? That's the delay. We need to take that into
Okay,
account
that's
for
your voice. That's your voice. We're good. We're good. Okay. Just wanted to check that so we didn't start talking about this episode and you're not with us. Okay, you can shut it off now. I don't want to hear the delay. We've got 2 viewers apparently, so if you want to talk about this episode, obviously comment along. I can't bring comments up on the stream, but I see the chat anyway, so I can shout you guys out as we go. I wanted to do
the review of Ezra Miller's The Flash. Thank you for coming. You remember to change the name of the stream, right?
I don't want to even remember that movie, please. I just want to move on from it. I want to backtrack real quick. So the viewing figures for episodes 1 and 2 of Ahsoka have been released, and they ain't good. I believe this is just in the US. I don't think this is taken into consideration other international territories or anything like that. But the debut first 2 episodes got 1.2 million households watched in the first 5 days, which ain't good. Apparently, it broke even with Andor. We've talked about that before. I really enjoyed Andor. It's a very much a slow burn, but absolutely compared to this one, it's night and day. The writing's top notch in Andor, and is incredibly well directed. But no one watched it. And, you know, whether that was the marketing, I don't think the marketing was that great for Andor, or maybe it was just series fatigue, I don't know, but the numbers basically broke even with that, and 1.2 million clocked in at just slightly under Mandalorian Season 3, because no one was fucking talking about Mandalorian Season 3. It's hilarious. When 1 and 2 were out, everyone was commenting every week, memes were getting shared, and there just seemed to be nothing going for it for Season 3, so it's very interesting, because this is basically the culmination. This is the realization of over 10 years of animated universe shit from Dave Filoni, what with Rebels and well, I guess Clone Wars as well. And people ain't watching it, which is hilarious to me. But I did think it was very interesting because I wanted to see what the viewing figures.
This isn't the culmination. This is the continuation.
Well, I guess the culmination.
The culmination yeah.
Is that movie that will never happen because no one's watching these shows. Also, notes on last week. I just wanted to backtrack real quick. Oh, we've got Carl Roberts. How you doing, man? Can I actually... Oh, hang on. I do see a chat. Hang on. If I can... Hey, look at that. I think this is going to do every single person's comment, though. So this is going to be interesting. But at least I've got your comment on the screen, my dude. I think it's going to be the opposite thing's going to happen now. I don't actually think I can take your comment off until more people comment. So it's going to stay on there. That's fine. It's a brand new edition. Why not? But I hope your evening's going well, man.
Oh, it's doing that. Okay.
Yeah, it's doing that.
You might want to make that smaller.
Hang on. It's doing that Twitch stream.
It's only 2 words, so it's gonna.
There we go.
You're gonna want it.
What about that? Like that? Is that good?
Hang on. I got an idea.
We're still working this out, guys. We're still working this out, little by little each
week.
I mean, I guess I can just keep doing this. You know, I can just. Hey, oh no, it's completely got rid of it. I feel like such an old man with technology right now. Oh, it's fine. It must go off after a bit. Okay. Anyway, I wanted to backtrack real quick. The previously on this episode was so fucking boring to watch. None of these characters. I mentioned this last week, but it was because it was basically the last two episodes bite size, right, and like a minute long previously on. It just occurred to me just how magnificently boring all of these characters are, none of which have any charisma, any urgency in their delivery, any likability, and it was all kind of voiced. Every single character, this was like Sabine, Hera, Ahsoka, everyone spoke at the same kind of monotone, uninterested level throughout the entire minute of the previously on, so that was hilarious. And I guess the first two episodes were just that, but elongated into two full episodes. And also, it occurred to me, I completely forgot, so Ahsoka trained Sabine, right? That Sabine was... Oh, we have lost JX. Okay, yeah, I'm sure he will be back. I'm going to continue anyway. Hopefully he... Hang on. Okay, I think he should just be able to jump back in. I think he did this last time. Anyway, the fact that Sabine is Ahsoka's Padawan, essentially, so, you know, the two have shared a lot of closeness over the years. Some would argue a lot of closeness based on how the two actresses are portraying it. It's almost like they've got a lot of sexual tension rather than being a student-teacher, you know, mentor relationship kind of thing. But there was no sense of urgency from when Sabine was stabbed. There was no scene where Ahsoka panicked or rushed to her rescue or knew what was happening. She kind of got stabbed and then woke up in the hospital a couple of hours later, a day later or whatnot, and Ahsoka was just there and she was still folding her arms and she just seemed really bored and flat. And her Padawan almost fucking died. Like, let's go back to the saga real quick. When Qui-Gon dies, when his teacher is stabbed, there is a long comment meant for sizing. I don't know what... This is a long comment meant for sizing. Oh, well, I guess it hasn't come up, so... Oh, we've got Mythic Dawn as well. Good evening, man. How you doing? Yeah, so, like, when Qui-Gon got stabbed and was, you know, seemingly killed in front of Obi-Wan, he freaks the hell out. And there's urgency there, you know, with the John Williams music cranks up and he goes, no! You know, there's that moment there and it's great. When old Obi-Wan dies, Alec Guinness, and it's slashed by Vader in A New Hope, Luke has that reaction to it. Even in Revenge of the Sith, when Obi-Wan finds out all of the horrible things that Anakin's done, and he's like, send me to kill the Emperor, I won't kill Anakin. There's a connection there, there's something, there's character there. What did you get from this? We learned that Ahsoka's trained Sabine for X amount of years, however many years it's been post Rebel Season 4, and she's just seems really unperturbed that her student basically almost got killed. She should have got killed, let's be fair. That lightsaber should have liquidized all of her internal organs. You expose any kind of liquidy substance to, like, scorching hot heat that melts anything it touches, her internal organs are getting boiled up and just melted away. But, you know, everyone's got to be a girl boss in this, and everyone's got to survive a fucking lightsaber strike. More on the girl boss shit later, because Ahsoka does some crazy law-breaking shit in this episode, which... There's kind of an unspoken rule as to why this has never been done in Star Wars before and why it shouldn't been done in Star Wars. And when you watch this episode and see it happen, you understand why we haven't done this before in Star Wars. And that's the way that it should... You guys know which scene I'm talking about. It's in the goddamn thumbnail of the video, but we'll get to it. I actually don't know what's going on with JX. I hope he joins us again soon. Let's just see. Aha! I think I might have him. I don't know what he did. He must have clicked something. Okay, dude, speak. Are you back? Okay. Speak.
Hello?
Oh, there we go. I think we got you back. You might want to just check the stream again just to make sure that the your audio is still good. I can hear you. Yep, hopefully the people at home can.
What?
Oh, for fuck's sake. I said you're all good. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
About it. The goddamn thumbnail of the What about my mother?
Wow, that really is 30 seconds, isn't it? Jesus.
Sorry, I'm trying to hear if I'm on, if they can hear me now. Sorry, I'm a little I just had a sneezing fit right before I came in.
Okay, yeah, they can hear
Okay,
you.
there we
Okay,
go.
that's all good. Continuing on then, I mean, do you have any last thoughts on the previous two episodes, or should we jump right in with this new one today? Time to fly.
Uh, I mean, yeah, no additional notes.
Okay, right then.
Oh, wait, didn't I send you a message after the stream? A lot of people were making a big deal of this, and it is. Oh God, do not crash me out of here again. Uh, a lot of people were making a big deal of this. I realize it is worth noting. The Inquisitor is actually like stands a chance against Ahsoka, which is rare.
Which bit?
Like in the lightsaber fight on the dock.
Okay, I disagree. We'll get to that scene later on. Okay, we kick
Wait,
off.
wait. Why do
Wait.
we go get to that scene later on? As that's in the previous episode.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were referring to the lightsaber on the thing. Okay. Yeah, they kind of nerf character. Oh, he's gone again. Oh boy. I'm gonna carry on, guys, because we got to get through this. Hopefully, you can jump back in a second. They kind of nerf characters down when it's necessary for the plot. Ahsoka seems to be all powerful and doing crazy godlike, like she's playing the video game with cheat codes on, like this episode. And then when she's toe to toe in a fight, they kind of nerf her down. Let's remember as well that Ahsoka, if what he was saying was true there, that she was almost bested in a fight. This, she's beaten Darth Maul when, a couple of years ago, when she was a bit younger still, but surely she should be more trained now. She should be even more adept at the Force than she was back then. And she beat Darth Maul pretty goddamn easily. And she's fought, countless other characters, and she's came out on top. Carl says, can I bring up the chat? I might be able to. Carl says, I would love for him to be Starkiller. That would be great. I've seen a number of theories. The top theories that I've seen of who this character is at the moment are Luke from the expanded universe, from Heir to the Empire, actually, the original novelization. So Luke was cloned from his severed hand that was found on Bespin. And some have been saying that, they're going to reference Heir to the Empire at some point. We're bringing Thrawn into it. So this is kind of a watered down bullshit version of that story, and they're cherry picking certain things. So I've seen theories saying that it could be Luke, which I don't know if they'll do that. That might be a bit weird, and it seems like Disney Star Wars is trying to break away from Luke Skywalker being a hero or being a central figure anyway. So I don't think it's going to be him. I think the easiest one is going to be that it's Ezra. That there's a reason that they're concealing the character's face. It's going to be played for some kind of big dramatic reveal, and I can almost read it now, where it's going to be something like, the mask is revealed and it's Ezra, and he'll have been corrupted, he'll have been changed, and Sabine will be like, no, not Ezra, come back to the light, please. And there'll be a moment where they look at each other in each other's eyes, and he'll almost be like torn apart. He'll kind of remember her and kind of snap back to the light, and then he'll be back to the light by the end of it, after a bit of a lightsaber fight. That's probably what's going to happen. I think it's probably going to be Ezra. I don't think they're going to do the whole Luke thing, because let's be fair, that was kind of bullshit in the expanded universe anyway, and I just don't see them having enough grounds to do it on this one. JX says she wasn't almost bested. The guy wasn't killed in 20 seconds. That's significantly better than the others. Last command, not heir to the Empire. Oh, my bad. Well, if you keep jumping out of the the goddamn thing. Right, let me bring you in again. Okay, let's just run with it this time. Let's just run with it this time. What do you keep doing?
The computer just keeps shutting off.
You got some communist internet going on right now. So sort that shit. Okay, we got some gremlins in the system. Let's keep pushing on. Let's see. Carl says Vader's apprentice
it
versus.
can't be Ezra.
Okay. Okay.
Because the thing is, if it were Ezra, then there wouldn't be a need to find Thrawn.
They don't know that it's Ezra, so there is still a need to find Thrawn. I don't know, like the fucking
nobody. No. I'm talking about for the Empire. The Empire doesn't need to. The Empire. What? Oh, girl.
Yeah, but if Thrawn is still missing, like the two could be separated. Like one could have, Ezra could have materialized and found himself. Dimensions are weird. Like he could have fucking showed up and they could have got him, but Thrawn is still missing. They don't necessarily have to be in the same place as each other.
Wait, what do you think happened?
To my understanding, and as I say, this is why I want you on these calls, because you've seen Rebels, I haven't, and this show doesn't do a very good job of actually catching people up who haven't watched it. You've kind of got to go with that you've seen it. To my knowledge, Ezra gets locked in some kind of eternal battle with Thrawn, and the space whales are involved, and it teleports them to a realm between realms, and they disappear out of the galaxy, and no one knows where both of them went. That's kind of what my understanding is.
Okay, the space whales travel through hyperspace.
Okay.
They didn't teleport to another dimension. They were just dragged by the space whales through hyperspace.
Okay.
So wherever the space whales and Thrawn, and essentially Ezra and Thrawn have to end up in the same place. If a Thrawn is locked in another galaxy, and either he or Ezra is going to make it back on their own, it's going to be Thrawn.
Mm-hmm. Wait, you're saying Thrawn's going to be the one with the lightsaber?
Like
or you're saying that the two would be together because they
no,
both...
I'm saying... Yeah, I'm saying if Thrawn is still stuck in another galaxy, then Ezra is most definitely still stuck in another galaxy.
Okay, cool. So if we scrub Ezra off the equation, then it's either going to be a character that we know. It's going to be. They're not just going to reveal it to be a brand new character.
Quinlan Vos.
Who?
It could be Master Voss.
It won't be Quinlan Vos. No one fucking
Voss Pity.
No one fucking knows who Quinlan Vos is. It's going to be a visually known character to these and to the audience for some big shocking
Here's the thing,
reveal.
though. In this show, it doesn't matter if nobody knows them, though.
No, but for the viewer,
fans of the show know them, and fans of the show do know Quinlan.
It's not go. You know Quinlan Vos. I know who Quinlan Vos is. 99.999% of the 1.2 million people who watch this won't know who fucking Quinlan Vos is. He's never actually properly appeared. He's cameoed. He's cameoed in the background in a blink and you'll miss it shot in Phantom Menace. No one fucking knows who Quinlan Vos is. Okay, it ain't gonna be. What a big shocker!
Yeah, but he's starred in numerous. He's a He's a big fan favorite in the Clone Wars. That's who this show is pampering to.
Okay, what? And he's gone again. Oh, maybe it is Quinlan Vos. Maybe Disney are trying to hack into this stream and, well, actually, I don't know why they're trying to take out JX's webcam, because I'm the one who hates Disney Star Wars. He seems to like it. Starkiller would be cool, as Carl said, I suppose. And then you can have the Mary Sue and the Gary Stu fight, because... yeah, Starkiller, there were fun games to play, but he was way too overpowered. So for anyone who says, oh, Chris, you don't have any problems with male characters doing over-the-top shit. No, I do. And I had a problem with more than half of the shit that Starkiller was doing in those games. Um, yeah, Carl says Vader's apprentice versus Anakin's. It's like poetry, it rhymes. Oh god. Yeah, but then you're kind of going into, well, the Force Unleashed games aren't canon, and they're sort of bringing him in. But then Starkiller is the name of the Snoke's base, the First Order's base in the Force Awakens. Because unfortunately, here's the thing: all roads lead to the sequel trilogy. No matter how good Andor is, even if people do enjoy Ahsoka, which I think on the whole most people seem pretty lukewarm to it, if err on the side of negativity with it, everything's still going towards the sequel trilogy. They just need to reset everything, but it keeps on going. It keeps on going. JX says he's still here. Right, I'm going to try and bring you in again. You just sort this shit out, man. Sort your internet out. Oh, the picture looks better. The webcam looks clearer, so maybe you did something.
I blame Streamlabs, all I'm saying.
All I'm saying is we've used Streamlabs a bunch of times and we haven't had this problem before. We didn't have it last week.
Who's we?
What the hell is an aluminum falcon? Yes. Mythic Dawn says, when are we getting the Boss Nass spin-off series? No, because they'll fucking ruin Boss Nass. I don't want it. I'm just apathetic now.
What do you think is there to ruin?
Dude, Disney will find a way. Disney, it's like Jurassic Park. What's it? Life finds a way. Disney will find a way to fuck it up. Derpy Entertainment says, I'll be real. This episode sucked or heavily fell off from what it wasn't.
Read it.
Okay.
Do not interpret it.
Okay.
Read it.
I'm be real. I'm be real. Okay. I'm be real. This episode sucked or heavily fell off from what it was in the premiere. And the premiere was pretty shit as well. Disney Star Wars sucked. Agreed. Anyway, which brings us very neatly to tonight's episode. So Sabine is training with, I always forget his name. It's kind of like a Japanesey sounding name, the robot.
It does look Japanesey in the
Huyang, that's it. Yeah, it's kind of Asian.
What numbers are those? Like, what's his actual designation? Why does he have a name?
Yeah, I know, it's strange, isn't it? Yeah, I don't quite understand. And he's sparring with...
Like, they write 3PO phonetically, R2, BB-8. It's all written out with letters.
Yeah.
But it's interpreting numbers and letters combined. It's what the hell is Huyang?
Yeah, I've no idea. I've absolutely no idea. But he's sparring with Sabine, and he's kind of got like some General Grievous arms going on, and he's like Gaiki, Kirei.
Oh yeah, I guess he does.
And it all sounds very Asian influency, and he's sparring with her. And I was watching this thinking, wow, this is actually a really cool way to practice sparring. This is actually, you're against an actual opponent, you're blocking, you're parrying. It's almost like, you know when you're boxing on the pads and someone says like left hook, right hook, and like swings over the top, and you're actually getting some tangible, practical practice in. And I believe you have a note on this as well, because then
yeah, well, so I really like that, because I like that the saber, the holographic sabers like record the angles that you're going in and like color code which ones are. You can see that the red ones are way too like exaggerated in one direction, whereas the yellow ones are much smoother and more centered.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's going to go through and determine whether or not those are actually the strikes that she made. Just saying, someone's gonna do it.
Oh yeah.
But I think I think that whole like scenario is a lot cooler than just repeating the blind hold droid pinata with a gun.
Oh wait. Which brings us very neatly on to what we get next. So once again, Dave Filoni, everyone champions him. Oh, he's going to be the savior of Star Wars. He is the true successor to George Lucas. The dude is a terrible, awful fucking writer. He's written every single episode of this series. He's directing a couple as well, I think. So this is all him. From the writing of this show is absolute hot garbage, and this is all him. And he loves nothing more than member berries, and he needs to fucking stop, because right after we get another
Yeah, you
direct.
do know that that's kind of what makes him the successor to George Lucas, right?
No, but Lucas was coming up with original shit. It might not have all been good, but he was coming up with original shit. We get a pretty much an almost identical
I think
line
the same
drop.
could be said about Filoni.
Whatever. I've always hated
Like
Filoni.
both, they both use like repeated imagery, and then new kind of mediocre stuff.
No, but
What
like
do you want? Get out!
Filoni just straight up like riffs like verbatim. Like there's a line here, for example, that's lifted straight from Luke's training from A New Hope.
Oh,
Where,
I
where,
know. I have a note on this. You're gonna try and tell me how am I supposed to fight as a direct quote? I just hear a very reasonable question being asked.
no, the line is, "I can't see how am I supposed to fight." That's almost with the blast shield down. How can I say how am I supposed to fight? It's
Yeah. It's a very practical question.
okay, but see
Shut
past
up.
that and look at what it is. It is a almost direct rip-off of that line from A New Hope. It's not an original line. It's the whole scenario is there for member berries. You've got the visor, you've got the fucking blast shield helmet thing, and you've got the sparring. Because it's like, hey, I saw A New Hope as well.
You don't even understand. Hey, come here.
Why can't y'all Disney Star Wars fans
you
see
don't
that
even
this
get-
is member berries? What like put the scenes fucking back to back, put side to side, whatever.
Dude,
it's the same shit.
Look at what they look. Go to what if Star Wars, literally anything. What if the prequels were good? What if the sequels were good? And just tell me what you find
Those are all
that
trash.
isn't member berries.
Those are all trash. I hate those videos
Yeah,
and I
but the
don't watch
thing is,
them.
that's what the fans exactly. But that's what the fans have been. That's what the voice of the fans have been clamoring to. Oh my God! I once saw somebody literally comment, "When is Hollywood gonna fire all their writers and hire YouTubers?" And I screenshotted that and I just send that to people sometimes with the caption, "People this dumb shouldn't be allowed to procreate."
Well, that is dumb,
Not
but
my exact
no, like,
words, but
what you just said there, like that's what all Star Wars fans want. That's not what we fucking want at all. I want original, different shit. There was literally, and we had it. That literally, the scene begins with who are the fucking robot guy, and he's sparring. So we're still getting a sparring session, but we haven't seen this in Star Wars before. It's brand new. It's different. And then guess what? Oh no, we've got to revert to what we've seen before with the fucking bringing out the helmet. Oh, how I can't see. How am I supposed to fight? Oh, well, you must rely on instinct. Ugh, and all that shit. And it's great, wonderful. There's also another line that Ahsoka says to Sabine, which I wrote down because it is a line from A New Hope. But I'm gonna give this one some wiggle room. But knowing Filoni, it probably is a riff on the original. It's where Sabine misses, and I think like Ahsoka taps her on the head with a stick, and she said, "You'd be dead." And I just thought it's fucking Dr. Evazan in the cantina. You'd be dead. So I wrote that one down.
That's Syrio Farrell from Game of Thrones.
It's that one's a bit of a stretch, but knowing what Filoni's like, I wrote it down because I thought he probably threw it in there. This training session seemed to go on for a long time as well, and it wasn't particularly like paced in any kind of exciting. It wasn't really shot in any kind of thrilling or interesting way. But I did make a note here, Rice, where I said,
in like a saga edit like movie of this, I would probably make this the first scene, and just like skip all the oh, should she be my like it would be like the intro to Dragonheart with the training.
Yeah. And I actually have a note on the training here. I put well, at least we've seen some training with Sabine, so it's not like she's completely infallible and amazing and God mode like Rey was. We've actually seen some training. But then I put, but you know, she's still.
What are you, stupid or something? She's a Mandalorian. Her life has been training before this. It's just not been Jedi training. She uses a sword.
I'm talking specifically about the Jedi training here. I don't give a fuck about her history of a Mandalorian.
But she sucks at the Jedi stuff.
which is why it's great that we're seeing some training, and she's not a girl boss who's just amazing at everything right off the bat, like Rey, and like a lot of other characters that Disney have been doing recently. But then but she still survived a lightsaber stab in the previous episode. So like Rey, we're seeing her, pretty much hold her own in a lightsaber fight and be pretty good, survive a stab. Well, I know that Rey doesn't even get any kind of injury inflicted on her, maybe a scratch on the arm, that's basically it. And then, like Rey, after you've had the main lightsaber fight in episode 7, she then gets the training after she's already fought. It's kind of back to front. So it's kind of similar here. We've already seen her fight with a lightsaber, and now she's getting some training. It's like, well, this would be great if we saw the beginnings of the training first, and then later down the line you get a lightsaber fight. So it's always kind of flipped on its head, and it's a little bit weird. So I'll give them points for showing training, but it's what happened at the end of episode 1 is still an absolute debacle in my eyes and was just absolute horseshit. But at least we're getting some training for a character, so there is that.
Mythic Dawn, I just want to say, I have my own ideas on how post episode 3 window should be handled.
This is really annoying how I can't just like bring up a single comment and it just kind of does a chat box. Hopefully I can find a way around it. But Mythic Dawn says, series about post-electrocuted Windu navigating casinos, nightclubs and brothels in the dark Coruscant underworld in style of Apocalypse Now / Heart of Darkness. He becomes twisted cartel leader. Can Jedi just please just stay dead?
Interesting.
Can Jedi just stay dead, please? Not every character...
No, at this point, Windu kind of needs to come back.
No, he doesn't.
No. Windu needs to come back because at this point, it's a test. If all these other characters are coming back, then how is he dead? Didn't show me a body. Show me a body.
I don't need to see the body. The dude got fucking thrown out of a fucking 1,000-story window.
At this point, we need to see the body.
No,
at this point. With everything, with all the ambiguous deaths that aren't really gone, we need to see the body.
It's a lot of them. There's a lot of not really gone, which I hate. I've always hated that in Star Wars. People always go, oh, well, Darth Maul survived. Yeah, and guess what? I fucking hate that shit as well. That shit be dumb. That's one of the dumbest things. Oh, somehow Palpatine returned. Oh, it's really dumb how Palpatine's back. Oh, well, it happened to Maul, and look what they did with his character. Yeah, granted, they did a lot of cool stuff with Maul. They actually gave him a character.
They did with the character.
They actually gave him a character, which is more than he got in Phantom Menace. But the fact that he got cut in half and he still survived, that is bullshit. And I've always said that's bullshit. And that's why I viewed the...
Wait. So do you think he should have still survived? Do you think he should have stayed dead in the prequels? Or do you think he should have come back in the prequels cut in half?
I think they shouldn't have killed him in Phantom Menace and made him be the main bad guy until Anakin in Revenge of the Sith. But if you're saying, he should have...
what if he had, like, Grievous legs?
No. Motherfucker,
Why not? Vader survives it.
Things need to mean things. Dude got cut in half. He's motherfucking dead. I've just had a comment.
Here's the thing: you're saying things need to mean things. You're not saying that. You're saying things need to mean what I think they should mean. Because the thing is, Maul coming back with robot legs says something about getting cut in half with a fucking lightsaber and being a Sith. Or getting stabbed in the chest and being a Sith.
Can you just listen to what you just said? Just repeat that back. Him getting cut in half.
It says nothing. No, it's saying what you want it. It's not saying what you want it to say.
What I'm saying is, in 1999, when a character gets cut in half and falls down a fucking reactor shaft, they're dead. There was a reason he wasn't brought back in Attack of the Clones. There was a reason he wasn't brought back in Revenge of the Sith.
I could probably bring out a couple of 90s films that have characters fall down reactor shafts and come back.
Okay, I don't care about those movies. I'm talking about the one that was made in 1999.
You were just saying in 1999, if a character does this, I'm saying that might not be true. Utterly irrelevant to the rest of the film. What is happening to your face with these pixels?
It's fine on my end. I'm not sure. I guess guys watching can let me know if it's...
You're terrifying.
I know, but that's even without the pixelation. Mythic Dawn says Qui-Gon spin-off, but he doesn't really die. Well, judging by what Disney have done with it, there really wasn't any need for him to die. There were a number of ways that he could have lived, but hey, there we go. I don't know if
I
I
think the
don't.
whole becoming a ghost. Oh, Jesus Christ! This is what I do for the show.
Um, okay, after that we then go to I think we go to home one, don't we? I think we're on there with Hera, with boring, monotone. Like isn't I did a bit of reading on the character and some people's reviews and stuff. They say that in the animated series she's quite bubbly, she's full of life, she's quite motherly and nurturing. And you really don't get that from Mary Elizabeth Winstead. And here's the thing, like she's a very good actress. I've seen her in a bunch of stuff and she's always pretty good. So, and none of the actors in this are particularly good. Ray Stevenson's okay, but he's not really in this episode. And like the material he's been given, he's just being absolutely wasted. He's just acting rings around everyone, but even what he's given isn't that great. But I know that all of these actors can do much better, so I don't know if it's a directing thing. I don't know if it's just the writing. I don't know if they've all just kind of tapped out and they don't give a shit about what they're doing. But she's just really boring. and then we get the hologram of the senators, and Mon Mothma's back. And I said, oh no. I was like, please don't drag Mon Mothma into this, because she was really good and her character was great in Andor, and they had so much nuance to her character, and she was really interesting and compelling as what she was trying to do. And now she's back in this horse shit, and I was just like, oh no, please don't try and blend Andor into this. I no. But she's there, and she's, the actress is. I really love that actress who plays Mon Mothma. I think she encapsulates the character really well. I've said this before in Andor. I'm really glad she got a second shot at the character after her scenes got removed from Revenge of the Sith. I like how she's kind of found a way back in,
and
she's
probably
brilliant.
Rogue One.
Yeah. At this point as well, I didn't think they were going to show Hera's son, because they kind of dismissively refer to her son, and they're like, oh, how's Jason? And I mean, I don't know anything about the character, but I remember hearing that she was a mom. And she's like, oh, he's probably off in the ship somewhere. We're not going to show him. Do you remember? Did you watch Rings of Power?
I stopped watching after like the second episode.
There's in Moria. What is it? Durin and Nissa, was that her name? The dwarven prince and his wife. They had two dwarven children. They had two dwarven children, but the show was like really weird and like never showed the kids, or only showed them from like a long shot, and they were always wearing helmets, and it was kind of creepy that they never referred to the children. And I thought they were doing the same kind of thing with this. But we do get him. He does show up later on, and we get a scene which could be great.
How old would you say that kid is?
Probably like 10, like 9 or 10.
Okay, he was 9 when he fought at the Battle of Endor.
Okay, and how many years after is this?
So he's 14 now.
Oh, okay. No, okay. Maybe is it because I'm thinking like Jake Lloyd. How old was Jake Lloyd in Phantom Menace? Was he? I think he was 9, wasn't he? Was he 9?
9.
Okay, he looks a bit older
9.
than him, to be fair. Yeah. Maybe like, I don't know, like 11 or 12. He kind of looks like.
Yeah, I was getting 12 vibes.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, there's a big difference between 14 and 12.
Yes. Yeah, there absolutely is. Yeah.
There's like a huge difference between those two ages.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time in Star Wars where they've kind of fucked up the aging of certain characters. So yeah, I mean that shit was there. Well, that shit was there from the prequels, So there we go.
It's a little creepy to think about the fact that Solo is around the same time as Kenobi, but that was always the fact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like those age differences were always there. That one just kind of slaps you in the face.
Mm-hmm. I wonder if they could go back and redo it now. And this isn't because I thought the CGI looked terrible, but the opening scene of the new Indiana Jones film with a digitally de-aged Harrison Ford face. Oh. I wonder if they
Alden Ehrenreich.
if they could go back and Disney wanted to redo Solo and try and do it all over again, would they go with
Oh,
that
like
angle
that.
now?
Oh, you see, I was taking it the other direction. If Solo was a success, will Alden Ehrenreich have played young Indiana Jones in the opening scene?
Ooh, no, thank you. And here's the thing: I don't blame him. I think he was just given a bad rap, but he really isn't Harrison Ford. It was so misguided and pointless. I'm kind of jumping ahead just to kind of cap off this Hera thing. There's a scene where she actually does eventually run into Jason. And there's a moment where they start to have a conversation, and that could be really good in a show that actually goes into characters and have some character interaction. We could have like a nice, mother-son bonding scene where we actually get a bit of personality from Hera and she lights up a bit more and we learn more about him. And then it just cuts to the next scene. It's like a real abrupt cut. And I'm like, oh, okay, you're not even going to give us a shred of character in this show. We're 3 episodes in and I don't feel like I know any
Star
of these
Wars
characters.
fans have spoken. They don't like kids. They like it when kids don't say anything and eat frogs.
Yes, yeah. I don't know. I thought it was room to actually.
Should have said this is the way.
Oh yeah. I just thought it was some room
Like
for.
they kept saying it.
And they set that up so he could say it at the end, and they didn't do anything with it.
Like, why do they keep bringing up that he can't talk? And then.
I love Mythic Dawn's comment right here. He says, I forgot about Solo. They completely turned him into a eunuch. Yeah, it wasn't great. I didn't like it. It was a really ugly looking film as well. It was just really brown and dark and gray. Yeah, it's just
all the lighting was on set.
It shows.
I didn't like that.
Yeah, it looked. It's one of the ugliest films I've seen. That and Superman Returns, really, really look terrible.
That movie looks like vomit.
Yeah. I wanted to go back to the map. I don't. The map comes back up again, and I just kind of was. My mind was taken back to episode 1 with that temple that Ahsoka goes to. I was like, okay, going back to the map. So, someone created a map thousands of years ago, because that temple looked old. That was some like Indiana Jones shit that was going on with that temple. That temple looked like it had been around for a long time. This map was created seemingly, maybe, thousands of years ago, knowing that in the future, Thrawn would be pulled into another dimension by space whales.
No.
And this map is going to show the location to where he was going.
What? No.
Who made this map?
This map is a map. This map, vague ancient people made this map following the based off of what Hugh Yang said. Actually, the Jedi, or maybe the Night Sisters, I guess, created this map using the migratory patterns of the space whales that travel through hyperspace.
Okay.
And this is like the only way you could actually like get to the other galaxy.
So, seemingly, if these whales can travel through hyperspace, there's probably more than one other galaxy, right? So how do they know specifically which galaxy? Yeah. How do they specifically know which galaxy Thrawn is in? Because there could be millions. It could be like a fucking multiverse out there.
Because it was the space whales that took him away, so they're following the migratory patterns of the space whales.
Yes, and what I'm saying, how long does it take to chart that? Do you just like grab a hold of one of the tails and put a tracking device on one of them and go like, woo, I'm like...
I don't know, it was thousands of years ago.
Right, okay. And then
what the fuck is Stonehenge? I think it's like a seasonal thing, actually.
And then
it's like a calendar.
Someone built this temple and put the thing in the thing where all you've got to do to unlock it is twist the little plinth so the lines match. And then they get the map. This is like the dagger of Ochi all over again. It's like this dagger was created. This is an ancient Sith dagger.
No, the dagger of Ochi was like way more. The dagger of Ochi was, I would say, more bullshit. This is just more
convoluted.
Tomb Raider.
No, it still doesn't make any fucking sense. Anyway,
I mean, it's stupid. It doesn't not make sense. It's just not very smart, but it's very plotty.
I
Whereas like the dagger thing, it literally just cannot happen.
yeah, it's fucking bullshit.
Like this can happen, Chris. You're comparing two things, and one of them literally just can't happen, and the other one is just a bad idea.
Okay, well the question is then. Okay, so you said it was like the Jedi or the Night Sisters or whatever found like track this map following these space whales. By the way, I think Dave Filoni's got like a kind of whale fetish or something. He fucking loves those shits. Um, okay, so
Well, the
they
whales are pretty important to the plot thing.
so they track the
Like
migratory
that,
patterns of these whales. Okay, we're going to lock that information in a map. Why then hide it in a temple? Why do you need to hide that? Like, what's... You've got the information. Okay,
I don't
great.
know. Maybe we'll find out in Dawn of the Jedi.
So if it was
Oh
the...
my God! What if it was to strike back at the Rakatan?
So hang on. So if the Night Sisters created this map, they wanted to know about the migratory patterns of these whales for some reason. To what end? Why? Why do they need that information?
I don't know. I don't know, Chris. You're asking a question like it's a criticism.
Because it
It
is.
isn't.
Because we ain't gonna get an
No,
explanation
it
for that
isn't.
shit.
You what you said that about fucking why what's her face
It's a MacGuffin.
Bo-Katan wouldn't like
I'm saying it's a
you
MacGuff. It's a MacGuffin created because Thrawn happens to be in this galaxy, and we have another ancient map that finds the location to another character. And it's like, okay, well that's
oh well, sure.
relevant. And I'm like, well that's relevant now to the current situation that the Night Sisters want to get Thrawn. But in the
But
history
what
of
I'm
when
saying
this
is it's
info...
not a poorly executed MacGuffin.
It is, because what I'm saying is, okay, so this is an ancient map and an ancient fucking temple in an ancient civilization somewhere. Why did they need to acquire that information about the migratory patterns of whales to find another galaxy and seemingly do nothing with it? They weren't going there for
I,
resources, for conquest or anything.
Chris, how do you know we haven't seen what's there yet?
Because
What
they...
if we get there and there are these massive temples or weapon stockpiles? You don't know.
Okay,
This isn't a
can I
criticism.
make a bet?
This is called a question.
Can I make a bet? Can I make a bet? We're never going to get a fucking explanation for that in the entire rest of this season. It ain't going to fucking happen.
What are we betting?
Firstborn...
This season, maybe. That depends how long it takes for us to get there, because I think you mean series.
Firstborn child.
Like if we never. What?
I don't know. Like, what do you want? What do you want?
I'm getting the snip, dude.
But yeah, me too. My soul, like, I don't have one. Like, what do you want?
Actually, you know what? That might be a good bargaining chip down the line. I'll take your soul.
Okay, cool. Right, we'll bet each other souls. There we go. We ain't gonna get a fucking
Well,
explanation.
hang on. No. Let me figure out something of equal value, because like
it.
I don't I might need my soul at some point. I'd rather have your soul, but I don't want to risk mine.
uh,
You want like a can of Mr. Pibb?
sure. Do you want some iron brew? You can't get it in that country.
Fuck yeah. Okay, we'll figure out like some like
Custom shit. Yeah,
international
we'll do
sending
it.
thing.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it. I'll
Yeah.
bet you. I bet you a can of iron brew. There we go. I bet it will cost me like $300 or something to send
It's
it
gonna
over to
cost so much more. You should just like order it for me on Amazon,
you. Yeah, I will do. Okay, right.
and I'll order something for you on Amazon UK.
This is a deal.
It's like an import.
Okay.
All right. This
Uh.
is stupid. This is so dumb.
Anyway, speaking of dumb, we're on to the main attraction of the show right now, of the episode. So we get a space attack. We get some pew pew shooty shoot. Remember in Star Wars, we got to have some spaceships in there somewhere. So the Sith Jedi
Yeah.
are.
When I saw this, when I saw who was piloting, I wrote a note that said, "I wonder which pilots will survive."
Yeah, no, you're right. So the Sith Jedi show up with boring, disinterested,
With
blonde
two red shirts.
apprentice. Like, yeah, the two red shirts, and then you've got the Dark Souls character who may or may not be Starkiller or Luke or whoever it's going to be. And I just put, man, Star Wars needs a shake-up. We get another scene of someone sitting in a fucking gunner seat like New Hope and pretty much all of the sequel trilogy films. and the pilot and the fucking gunner seat with the Amy thing, and I'm like, I'm so done. I'm so bored of seeing this now.
I have an idea.
Um,
What if Marok is Asuka?
that means something to someone.
In no, instead of Luke, it's Asuka.
Oh no! Oh no! 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 Please no. No. Also, like, we got Dark Ray in episode 9. We're gonna have like evil Sith Ahsoka, but she technically won't
No,
be a
Dark
Sith.
Ray is just Vader in the cave with Luke's face in episode 9. Like
Yeah.
this is just a whole other character we're talking about.
I was just
Although actually in the book, Luke comments that like he's felt this before. It was like it feels exactly like it felt when he fought an apparition of Darth Vader. But it wasn't Darth Vader at the end. It was, and then the man took his cloak, revealing his face. His face, Luke's face.
Luke
I
said,
think that's almost a direct quote from the book.
and then Luke said, "Oh my God, what's wrong with your face?"
And then Jerusalem Sabaoth is like, Luke, meet Luke.
And then there was a Luke, wasn't there? There was a 3U.
He goes
Luke.
to the he travels through time.
Hey,
Fights in the Clone Wars.
We got time travel going on in this, maybe, or interdimensional travel at least. Where there's the space between spaces with time travel.
Are you talking about the world between worlds?
Oh no, we've done time travel. Ahsoka goes back and fights Vader in season 2.
No, that wasn't time travel. Her getting
It basically is.
nobody actually goes to a different. No. Nobody actually goes to a different time at that. In that, in fact, the whole point is that like it's kind of what's the word?
It's like she was always meant to be there. Like that's how the event actually played out. But it kind
what's
of
the
is.
word I'm thinking of? Yeah, but what I'm saying is nobody actually travels to a different point in time in that. Like Ezra pulls her from time to the world. They stay in the world and then they go back to where they came out.
Mm-hmm.
But what am I? Oh, what is it that the Dwemer believe in Sky? Mythic Dawn, help me out here. Determinism. I think the world between worlds is supposed to be like pro-determinism, and so you can't change anything because then you won't change anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But we know that we're going to get a scene to do with that anyway, because I think we've seen that in the trailer. I think you can see the world between worlds silhouette things in the background.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that's where like the end lightsaber fight's going to be or some shit. I'm not
sure.
Have
we seen the owl yet?
No.
Have we seen the superb owl?
No, not yet. It'll be in there. It'll be in there. But yeah, I was watching this space attack, and it went on for so long, and I was so bored, and I was taking notes on my phone. I was kind of occasionally glancing up, and it was so uninteresting. I knew that no one was in peril. It was just so bullshit. There's also another line that gets cliffed, and it almost sounds exactly the same. Again, member berries. The Dark Souls masked Sith guy says, "As you wish," when he's in the cockpit, and I was like,
I think that's just a thing they say. But sure, I think it started off as member berries, and now it's just a thing they say.
He's a masked guy that kind of sounds like Vader a little bit, and he goes,
"No," but they all say "as you wish."
Two people say "as you wish." Two.
No,
Vader and Boba Fett.
Also, no, you don't understand. This goes well beyond that. This goes into Clone Wars. This goes into Rebels. This goes into the Old Republic. They, as you wish. Like what it really means is, I love the dark side.
Okay, but I just mean the cadence in which it was delivered, the masked voice, and this being Filoni. It wouldn't surprise me. Okay, that's all I'm saying.
All right.
I've got a question. I could just kind of jumping back earlier. So they're saying like, oh, if if Thrawn is found, he will cover the land in a second darkness, and he's going to do all this bad shit and everything. He's going to like lead the Empire again. To my understanding, and I mean, I might be getting the old canon mixed up with the new canon, Thrawn was kind of out for himself and didn't really care about the Empire. So why do they think all of a sudden he's going to lead the Empire to victory?
Okay, well, firstly, that is not common knowledge. Thrawn, as far as the rebels are concerned, was just the Empire's greatest and incredibly loyal general or admiral.
Okay.
That said, in old canon and new, so in new canon, I didn't finish the third Thrawn book, but he joined the Empire to help, like, to give the Emperor like charts for the unknown regions to help prepare for an invasion uh of people from the unknown regions called the Grisk. Pretty much the same thing, except it's Thrawn who's recruited by Palpatine because Palpatine is the one who knows about the Yuuzhan Vong, not the Chiss.
Mm-hmm.
And so they take the original idea and they turn it on its head with the new canon. However, I think the Grisk are dealt with in the Thrawn book. Here's the thing: I did not finish Thrawn Treason. The audiobook was taken off of YouTube,
mm-hmm.
and it's like $30. 20. It's like $20.
There might be some website or something maybe where you can find it.
Maybe, but yeah. But yeah. So Thrawn, I would say, so in Legends at this time, Thrawn. Well, this got seriously retconned actually. So at the time it was written, Thrawn was just serving the Empire, so they could be doing that.
Mm-hmm.
He's just an Empire who is trying to pull the Empire, the remnant, back from collapse. In future books, it's revealed he actually was creating a second empire using Imperial resources to help fight the Yuuzhan Vong when they show up.
Mm-hmm.
And while like he had convinced the Emperor that this was actually like his, but it was Thrawn's. They were loyal to Thrawn.
Right. Okay. Well, I wanted to bring that up just because I wasn't sure.
And he had like a Spark cylinder with his own clone in it.
No, that's not me criticizing it. That's just me. That was me just like posing a conversation topic, and I knew that you would probably have the answers, so I guess we'll see once we get to his character.
Yeah. No.
Okay, I am going to move on to a criticism now, though, because this is the worst one of... Oh, this is bad. And I've got a feeling that you're going to defend this, so we're going to have some interesting discourse on this. I'll be interested to see where this conversation goes. Okay.
Oh, is it going to be her spacewalking?
Yeah. Okay, here we go. So...
It happened in Clone Wars, whatever.
I don't care. It's bullshit in that, but I'll give some wiggle room to that because it's an animated thing. In the old animated Clone Wars, Mace Windu be punching fucking battle droids in the face, and it was all stylistic and cool. But like, if that was in live action, that would be equally as bullshit. Ahsoka.
Well, actually, in the Clone Wars, a clone punches a droid and breaks his hand.
Yeah, well, didn't Ahsoka or Sabine like punch a droid in episode 1 of this series, and she was fine? And then I just remember when Obi-Wan kicks when Obi-Wan kicks General Grievous in the shin.
I might have been taking notes. I have no idea. I might have been taking notes.
I think she punches a droid. I think she punched the droid in the face and she was fine. And then I just think of Obi-Wan when he kicks Grievous in the shin and he's like, ah, which is one of my favorite bits in Revenge of the Sith.
If that did happen and it's open palm, it's fine.
Ahsoka, Mary Sue's 3 spaceships. She gets out on the wing of the spaceship as it's still flying and doing crazy shit. And she gets the lightsabers out, and I've got to bring up the thumbnail again because that face. She strikes the girl boss face with the 2 lightsabers as these 3 ships come towards her, and they're all pew-pewing her, and she's just deflecting all the laser blasts. Now, I've got a bunch of problems with this, okay? Because now, where I think, and I don't want to speak for you, but I'm going to guess what you might say, is that, well, what's wrong with that? It's completely within the power ability of what we've seen in the extended universe and some of the video games that a Jedi can deflect laser blasts and can do that. Okay, I got a problem, because you could make that argument, but there are some things I feel in Star Wars that you just, even if it might be within their power threshold, it just isn't done in film because it will break the film. Number one, case in point of that, is shit like in A New Hope when the Millennium Falcon's flying out of the hangar bay from the Death Star. Vader could grab that ship if he wanted to. When Luke falls in, when he throws himself down the reactor shaft at the end of Empire, Vader could force grab him and lift him back up. Like, there's a number of things that could happen, but would break the film. That's more in the point of the spaceship, the Millennium Falcon flying away, which was then broken in Obi-Wan, the Kenobi series, where he grabs
Can I just throw out
the
there,
ship.
there are canon reasons for both of those things.
I'm sure there are. But that's
Like
also
the ship flying away is literally in the movie. It's because they wanted the ship to get away. They
oh, that's
sent
true.
out
Oh yeah,
four
with the tracking
fighters.
device. No, that is right. That is right.
And with the other thing, it's literally it's the same reason Darth Maul doesn't force push Obi-Wan until he punches him in the face.
There's a number of things. He's like
So
when
you have to break somebody's concentration before you can actually use the force on them.
well,
If they're a force user.
There's another bunch of examples I could go to. The prequels where Qui-Gon's fighting Darth Maul on Tatooine and he jumps up into the ship. Boom, Darth Maul could like grab the ship and pull it back down. When Obi-Wan and the clone carriers are chasing after Dooku, just Obi-Wan and Anakin, both of them together, use the Force and stop his speeder bike from moving and drag him back to the... There's like a number of things. What I'm saying is
I'd point out Maul as a Padawan.
Like, what I'm saying is the Force abilities were curtailed for the necessity of the plot, is what I'm trying to say. So that's one thing. You can't do this in space. You can't have a character walk out onto a ship in space and start deflecting laser craft from spaceships, because number one, it breaks the integrity of the lore in the vehicles, and number two, I'm fine with Jedi deflecting blaster bolts. If it's from a handheld gun, that's fine. But we've seen things like in Attack of the Clones, for example, where you've got the Geonosis turrets with the that kind of thing, and they're hitting.
Oh, you can't like that.
Yeah, well, exactly, because it's more fucking firepower, right? Like, yeah, you can't deflect that. Absolutely.
Oh, I just figured because it's like a different thing.
But also, I'm guessing that the firepower from a ship is a lot more than would be from a handheld blaster.
But it is the same thing. You see, what's happening is it's because it's ionized, superheated ionized.
It's a laser.
No. What Tabana gas? It's superheated ionized Tabana gas. And what happens is the lightsaber is ionized to a different to the other, essentially like different magnetic poles. So like the saber is like positive, the blaster is negative,
okay.
Which is why lightsabers are able to deflect laser bolts.
So it's a laser, right? So you're saying that if it's a laser, okay, well then Ahsoka should be able to deflect the Death Star beam. It's a laser. It's made up of the same material.
Actually, I would point out that no. Ahsoka would direct because it's kyber based, which means it would be the same charge that a lightsaber is.
So she could block
it would actually direct the blade to her, taking the full force. Because as we see in Rebels, when Sabine is training with the Darksaber, the reason why you have those like clash locks where they're like this, the blades, because they're magnetically charged and are actually drawn toward each other.
Okay, but I'm going to bring it back to the fact that watching this was some of the most ridiculous and laughable shit I've seen in a long time. This shit looked terrible, and I was like, this is the reason we don't do it, because it looks like this. And Filoni was just like penning the script with one hand and just like wanking with the other, and was like, oh my god, this is so fucking cool, and it looks terrible and it's awful. And yeah, it's like they keep shooting at her and she keeps deflect. You screenshotting that for future purposes?
You gotta see what you look like.
Oh,
Keep
like
going. Keep
okay,
going.
okay. And they keep the enemy craft keeps shooting at her, and she's deflecting the laser. I think that's bullshit anyway, but she's deflecting the laser blast. But they keep shooting at her. I'm like, shoot the fucking ship. Concentrate your fire on the ship. Blow the ship up, and guess what? You've blown Ahsoka into 1,000 million tiny pieces in a flaming wreck. Why are they not firing at the ship? They keep shooting at her. It's shit like in RoboCop. They keep shooting at his chest plate. I'm like, shoot him in the face. It's like with Batman.
Yeah, no, you get.
It's like you've got the chin. Shoot him in the face. Mythic Dawn says, Boss Nass ear licking ASMR 1 hour. Oh, yeah, God, could you imagine that? But you know what? Still probably better than what Disney would do with the character. So this shit was awful. And then we got the space whales again, and I'm like, why does Filoni love these whales so much? Possibly another Treasure Planet
These
reference.
whales are pretty important. Like the whales are pretty important to the plot of this series.
He loves his
Just
whales.
to throw that out there.
He loves his whales.
Also, speaking of the space whales, I have a note here.
Uh-huh.
Shout out to the Force-sensitive space whales. Maybe they know where to find Ezra. And I'm not going to do this, but I have a note here in italics that just says, do whale voice like Dory.
Yeah. Well, it is Disney, so, you know, they could. They could. And I had a note saying another Treasure Planet reference. The map was definitely very Treasure Planet-y, as I showed you. I know you haven't seen it, but there's a scene in Treasure Planet where they fly past a pod of space whales called Orcus Galacticus, and it just really reminded me of that. And I swear to God that Disney are probably working on a live-action Treasure Planet. They've got the CGI ready for the space whales. They've got the whole map thing ready to go as well.
Actually, in that case, then the whales might then the rest might be because of the whales. The other Treasure Planet stuff might be because of the whales.
Maybe. But I don't know.
Because the whales, because the whales were in Rebels, and if they were a Treasure Planet reference then, and then they're like making this show where the whales are really important, and then it's got all these Treasure Planet references, this actually isn't a question for me. This is what I believe now.
I have another note. I think this was when they were navigating the space whales, and it was like we're flying through things. I'm like, again, I'm so bored of seeing shit like this, like flying through big creatures and whatnot. I put, this chase is still going. This shit felt like this was a short episode, and this felt like at least 10 minutes or maybe even more of this episode was this goddamn space chase. And then it just ends in some kind of way. They touch down on this like red tree planet. They say that they need to find the space whales, even though they just saw some. But they were like, shit, we need them to know where we're going next. And then the Sith Jedi say that, we will find them and we will pursue them and we will kill them. And I'm like, once again, nothing happens in this episode. The ending of this episode kind of just ends where the last one ended. With like the Sith Jedi are still trying to hunt down Ahsoka and Sabine, and we still need to find the whales, and we still need to find Ezra. I feel like nothing was accomplished this whole episode.
Well, they're at the thing that they're at the they went to point B. That's what happened this episode.
Great. With 3 episodes in.
Yep. Yep, they are at point B. Actually, I think this is technically point A was the shipyard.
These are just the most awfully paced. This is all Filoni. It's terrible pacing. Look at any other TV show.
Actually, they're on a planet by point B. They're on point A and a half.
Yeah, 3 episodes in. Great. We're at the halfway point next week, and nothing's fucking happened. Look at comparing to like, is this a fair comparison? No, maybe not. But it's another TV show. Going back to the good old days of Game of Thrones, season 1. Look at how much shit was accomplished in 3 episodes of season 1. Hell, even in just the first episode.
No, wait. An episode and a half, because that would be the amount of screen time we've had.
I don't care. There's nothing stopping them from doing hour-long episodes, 50-minute episodes. The first
Budget.
two episodes were 50 minutes, and I guarantee the only reason that they were that length and it was so drawn, like conversations in that were just like drawn out, was for watch minutes. I swear to God, that was probably the reason it was that long. Was just to say how many watch minutes they got in the first week or first 5 days or whatnot. And that's kind of it. Like I'm not hyped for the next episode. There's nothing particularly. Well, there's nothing gripping about these characters at all. They're all boring. There's no charisma. There's no charm coming from actors that I know have demonstrated in other films that I've seen them in. What's her name? Rosario Dawson, whatever her name is, who plays Ahsoka. Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Like
Yes.
all of these actors I've seen in much better projects, and they're fucking great. Like they're good actors. And they're just wasted. And I don't know if it's the director's fault. I don't know if it's the writer's fault, or I don't know if it's just they deep down don't give a shit about the project that they're in, and they're just doing it for a paycheck. I don't know, but it's terrible and it's awful. And people keep hailing Dave Filoni as the savior of Star Wars. Guess what? He ain't saving Star Wars. This is just as bad as shit we've had for like the last decade. Andor so far, Andor and Rogue One to a lesser extent, but I do like some aspects about Rogue One, but it's still not perfect. I loved it when I first saw it, but I think my interest in it has definitely declined. I've become a bit more critical of that film. But Andor is still just the shining example so far, and no one watched it. And I just really hope, because no one watched it, I don't want Disney to get their grubby little fucking fingers into it for season 2 and change it. Like, whatever that writer/director did, let him do his thing. Let him make his project. But, I mean, I guess that's probably shelved at the moment, along with everything else in Hollywood due to, you know, the writing and the actors' strike. So, we're not going to get anything for a long time until all of this is sorted out. And, I mean, I don't think this shit will be sorted out until maybe Christmas or possibly even into the new year. So, yeah. It's going to be very interesting to see how it plays out. Anyway, I'm done.
I have one last note.
Yeah, go for it.
I just have one last note. As Sabine said, I haven't seen those creatures since the day Ezra disappeared. For some reason, my immediate reaction to that was, we'll take it as a sign, a good omen.
I do believe the worst is behind us. There you go. Yeah, that was Ahsoka, Part 3, Time to Fly. Do we have a title for next week? Probably not. I think they only kind of get announced, don't they, when the actual episode comes out? Let me check real quick. Yeah, no title. However, it is done by a different director. It is going to be directed by Peter Ramsey. Let's see what Peter Ramsey has done. He's best known for directing DreamWorks Animation's Rise of the Guardians. And he co-directed Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, apparently. Oh, okay. I mean, I've never seen Rise of the Guardians. I know which one it is, but I've never watched it. I think that's the one where you got like Santa Claus and Jack Frost and like the fucking Sandman and the Easter Bunny or some shit.
No. I think it's the ones with that. Oh wait, maybe it is. I thought it was the thing with the owls.
No, that's Legend of the Guardians. I think that was the Zack Snyder movie, The Legends of Gahul or whatever it is. That was Zack Snyder. Yeah, that was the last good Zack Snyder movie. Because right after
what is he trying to turn us against in that movie? Like, what is that anti-movie of?
I don't know, but I know right after that he made Sucker Punch, which was awful, and then he made Man of Steel, which was awful, and BVS, and Justice League. Oh, he made that fucking zombie movie as well. What was that called? I forgot what that was. Came out in the last couple of years.
I don't remember.
With Batista. Oh god, it was Army of the Dead or something, I think it was called. It was fucking terrible. Then he did a TV show based on that film, and no one watched it, so I think that got shit canned. And then he's got a new film coming out, which I think was a rejected Star Wars script called Moon something, and that's going to be his new movie. He's taken like rejected Star Wars idea and he's kind of reworked it into his own mythos, but apparently it's got lightsabers in and all the stuff that you expect in Star Wars, and he's kind of doing his own sci-fi film. I haven't seen the trailer, but I've heard it looks kind of interesting. But that's how most Zack Snyder films go. They have a look about them, they do, but the writing, the acting is usually terrible. We'll see. We'll see.
What did you think of 300?
I love old school Zack Snyder. I fucking love 300's great. Watchmen's great. Best two films he's done, and the reason is because the writing of that was taken verbatim from a much better writer. And he copied it verbatim. Even like the shots of the film are pretty much straight off the comic book.
He missed the point entirely.
He basically copied someone's homework, and he copied it very well with his signature visual style, and I like it. I love 300. I love Watchmen. When Zack Snyder thinks that he can write his own shit and he gets in the writer's room, that's when we have a problem. And that we
What
have
do you
that
mean? What's wrong with a secret, like a completely non-present love story between Lois Lane and Bruce Wayne until the very end of Justice League 3, 2,
Oh yeah,
3,
yeah,
3?
yeah. Oof. Yeah. Right.
Like
Anyway,
that was in those notes.
yeah. Well, we went a lot
I
longer
could
than
have had a
tonight.
life outside this cave with you.
We've gone for about an hour and 20 coming up to it, so this was much longer than I thought it would be. So I think we're going to round off. I think most people are tuned out, so we'll round this off. But once again, a big thank you to everyone that's tuned in, that's commented. You know, of course, I appreciate it. We'll be back next week. Hopefully we actually have some big films coming out soon to talk about. I keep talking about it, but at the end of September we've got the new Saw movie, which I'm really looking forward to, so expect some reviews on that, some discussions on that. October I've got a big retrospective planned, which is probably going to take, well, it will take well over a year, so that's going to be cool to do. It's been a long time coming on that one, and I'm hoping that will try and help.
That thing we talked about?
Yeah, we've also got another retrospective we might do around October time. We just got to get them watched. We kind of missed the boat, didn't we, a little bit on Pirates of the Caribbean, because we were going to do that for the 20th
Is there a
anniversary.
pun intended there?
It wasn't, but I guess it was. So, but yeah, we'll figure it out. That'll be into October time anyway, which isn't all that long.
We'll talk after this.
Sure. Right. So I've got to wait 30 seconds apparently. So thank you to everyone who tuned in tonight. We will catch you next week, 11 p.m. Be there.
Just to kill some time as the timer goes off, I just want to say that William Afton had 2 sons and a daughter, Elizabeth, Michael, and Evan. Now, Evan was fucking terrified of the animatronics because when he was a kid, he saw one of the actors going into the Springlock suit, and he thought that they were just like being